everyone, this is Elizabeth with Scott Leroy Marketing, and welcome to Lead Generate with Command, Print Marketing 101. Today is February 28th, so if you are viewing the recording, some features may have changed. I'm starting out today in Mozilla Firefox, but Command also works really well with Google Chrome Incognito. And I am at agent.kw.com, which is Command. Once at this screen, we'll enter our username, which is generally something like first initial, last name, maybe a number, capitalization not required. Then we'll enter our password. And click sign in. So in today's class, we're going to cover a couple of print marketing pieces, a flyer, and a postcard. Now, the postcards do cost money if you so choose to print and send from Command. And the flyers only cost money if, again, you choose to print and have Command print that out for you and send it to you. If someone else can confirm that they can hear me speaking, that would be greatly appreciated. I will also post the call-in number here. Thank you. First things first, doing a little housekeeping. We're going to head to our name in the top right corner. Click and choose settings. Here, we're going to make sure all of the fields in our marketing profile are filled in, so that those options can syndicate out to designs and campaigns. And let me try this again. Okay, there it goes. Well, goodness. Let me try one more time here. Looks like it's kicked me out, so let me sign in real quick again. Again, we're heading to our name in the top right corner and choosing settings. There it goes. Then to find our marketing profile, it's going to be under the Connect settings on the left-hand side. You can click to drop down that menu and click Marketing Profile. So here you want all of the fields filled in as much as possible, especially the ones marked with a red asterisk, as those are required. You always want to come in here and make sure all of your information is up to date. If you do happen to make any additions or changes, click that Save button at the very bottom to successfully save. Next, we're going to head straight to Designs, which is the paintbrush in a square. While you're still learning the names of the applets, you can click the red square with the white KW at the very top left to expand the name of the applets. And again, we're heading to Designs. Now, your screen may look different than mine, as I have previously created several pieces, but you can either choose the Create Design that's in the middle if you haven't created any pieces yet, or the Create Design in the top right corner, the blue button. If you're not seeing that blue button or the Import Design as well, you may have to zoom out on your screen in order to see these. And once you click, you're given 4 choices. Again, today is over print marketing, so I'm going to select that so that it's blue. Now you can check this box to import photos and text from a listing and click continue. If you do check that box, you'll see KWLS 2.0 slide out from the right-hand side so that you can choose a listing for your template. You can either search by property address or MLS number and type in your address. And you'll see all of the listings start to populate. You may also want to change which listings are showing, either all listings or only my listings. That would be why it's not showing up. I misspelled it. Okay, here we go. Once you do locate your listing, click select. And you'll be taken to the WeBrand Design Editor. Now, once we're inside the WeBrand Design Editor, I'm actually going to flip over to Assets first. It's the 4th tab at the very top. You'll see Templates, Images, My Designs, and Assets. So upon clicking that tab, you'll see the menu on the left change. Now here is where you can update and add in any color palettes, fonts, images such as headshots, text. This is frequently used text. I commonly use phone, email, site, name. You may also have different social media or maybe a slogan or catchphrase. Logos are good for not only your team, but Market Center or KW logos. And you also have elements, which are kind of like clip art, stickers, object shapes, icons, like the Facebook icon, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And videos and files. So anything you would commonly use on your design pieces, you want to store here so that you only add them in one time to be used on any future design pieces versus adding them in with each piece. So now we're going to head back over to the Templates tab, which is where we came at the beginning. Now you'll see the menu on the left has several different categories. You'll see listings, a bunch of different options here, buyer, lead generation. Just click those category headers to drop down the different options there. For my example, I'm going to choose for sale. Once I choose that option, you'll see all of the different pieces start to populate. Now, it may look very overwhelming, but don't fret. You can also narrow down what you're looking for by the gray buttons at the top. So these are the different types of print pieces that you have to choose from for this specific category. So you will notice that they will change for different categories. So if you would like to narrow them down even more, you can just select the type to get all of the pieces that match what you're going for. So today I'm doing a letter-sized flyer which is the 8.5 by 11, just a standard sheet of paper. You can also choose door hangers. There are options for postcards. And you'll also see different versions. So the bifolds, you'll notice, has 2 buttons at the top. One is vertical and one is horizontal. The file will, I should say, the printer will not affect the file that you choose. So any standard printer should be able to print these letter size flyers. But if you are choosing something like a door hanger or maybe a postcard and want to print those on a special type of paper or cardstock, then you may have to, choose your printer wisely. Some like standard house printers don't have the option to do cardstock, but maybe your office printer does. And I will show you also later how to download the piece. So if you do need to take it to a store like UPS, Staples, Office Depot for them to print it, you can do so as well. So once you have your pieces narrowed down and you select your design, you can hover over the design and click the red Use button. You just want to choose one that works best for you and your situation. But no matter if you're making a test piece and following along with me, viewing the recording later for a real piece, or just working alongside me in a different type of piece, all of the functionalities of the designs is going to be the same. So just make them work for you with what I'll show you today. So first things first, I'm just going to close the speech bubble at the bottom, which covers up my zoom. And I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it better. You can use this to contact the homeowner of a vacant property by a couple of different ways. If you're using a flyer, you can leave it behind. If you're using a door hanger, you can leave that behind. You may also want to use the postcard so that it's mailed out. There are several different options. Our daily live classes, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, do not actually have a registration. You just sign on to slmwebinar.com at the time of the class and it lets you in. So starting at the very top, working our way down, we'll see for sale, because this is the option that I chose. No need to change that. So the next field is the address. So I'm going to click to select, which you'll then see it highlight in a blue line. Then we're going to head over. I'm going to head over to KWLS because originally we did import the address for photos and text for the listing. But since we ventured over to assets, that connection was removed. So I'm just going to add it in again. Hopefully spelling it correctly this time. And pressing enter. And then finding my property here and clicking select. Now that we've selected that, we'll see all of the photos are coming in from the MLS. And if you tab over to the listing details, all of the listing details are coming in. So we still have our address selected over on the piece. So we're going to find the address in this list and click replace. Replace is the 2 arrows in a circle, the button on the right-hand side. And by doing so, that updates the piece with the information. Now, the state does not come over. So if you do need to further edit this after you replace, you most certainly can. Do so just by double clicking and then manually typing in the information. You can then deselect the field if you so choose by clicking in the gray space of the piece. So you can see how it works here. That does look a little off center. So I'm going to click to select and then hover my mouse so that I see the white cross with arrows. And then, oh, I don't want to change that one. I want to change this one. Nope. Let's move this back. There we go. Now you will see as I'm moving it, the grid lines, the blue grid lines do appear. So once you find that, you'll release. There we have it. Looks a little more centered there. Moving on down, next is the picture. There are actually a couple of different ways you can update the picture. The first way is to click to select. Come over to the Photos tab and click this Replace button. You'll see that loading up at the very top. And we are seeing that the major glitch right now is that it's popping up to the top left. Easy fix though. You just want to click this reposition in the top menu, the little arrow in a square, and then drag it back and click done. Another way to add in a picture, especially if you're making a coming soon flyer or any design piece, you can head over to the Images panel and the Add tab to upload from your computer. So moving on down, next field is the bed, bath, square foot, price, and built-in year. Now you'll notice once I click to select this field, all of this is selected. By coming over to the KWLS panel and listing details tab, you'll notice that all of these pieces, bed, bath, square foot, year built, and price are all separate fields here. So you do not want to simply replace. Also, because what gets replaced is simply the detail itself, not the field name. So if I were to click replace, it would just input a 4, which doesn't really serve you and your time. So instead, double click in this field to manually update. Actually, that's the same. From the information on this left-hand side so that it saves you some time and effort. Next is the price and built in. There you have it. Moving on down, next is the photo. So I'm going to click to select. So we have the first way to add a picture is to choose from the KWLS panel. And I'm going to choose this picture here. So you can replace image. We do often see that that doesn't always work on these smaller images. Like you can see, it disappears. You can also, number 2, add in images from the images panel, straight from your computer, like I mentioned. And another way to add in an image, back in the KWLS panel, we're going to choose our image and then click the plus sign to straight add in the image to the center of the piece. So you'll see it shows up large right in the middle. Now you can hover over the corners and sides of this image so that your mouse is the white arrows with a line, and click and drag to make this photo smaller. You can also click and drag in the center to move the picture around. Let's do the same for the next one. Add, reduce, and I'm going to move it over this one. And then to delete the placeholder, click to select so that it's with that blue line. And then you can click the remove, the trash can icon in the top right. You may also have to do that for the background of that placeholder image as well, with just a few clicks. This class will be on our YouTube channel later this afternoon. It takes a few hours for it to upload, but our YouTube channel is youtube.com/ScottLeroy-Marketing. Let me zoom back in for you. Next field is the description. So I'm going to click to select, head over to my listing details tab, and all the way at the bottom, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see this, is the property description. Now this one does work really nicely with the replace option again. So I'm going to click to replace. And you'll see that text comes over right away. And the text is still selected. So I can change the size a little bit, move it to where I want. You also have all of these formatting options at the top. So you can change things like the font, the size of the font. You can even open the typewriter option to change any of the texts a little more easily. Opacity, fill color, stroke color, bold, italic, underline, the letter case, change it to a bulleted list, ordered list, the alignment, but last but not least, spacing. This is one of my favorite ones because with spacing, you can then change how far apart the lines are in your text. Do want to make this a little smaller because it's going to yell at me later for being outside the bleed area. Next is going to be our headshot at the very bottom left. Again, I'm going to click to select, come over to our panel on the left and choose images. We're also going to go back to the My Assets tab. And here is where those assets are pulling in from when we added them at the beginning. So now you can just click replace. Looks like that's still not playing nicely. So you can also click the plus sign to use image. There we have it. Now your headshot can also be uploaded from your computer, just as the listing photos. And then resize. There you have it. Next piece of info is my name. So I'm going to click to select. And this one's going to be in the text panel. Again, under the My Assets tab. And just like the description, the text works really nicely with replace. Looks good there. Now the next field, once I click to select, you'll see that just like the listing details, bed, bath, square foot price, my phone, email, and app URL are all in one field. So instead of manually updating like I did up here, I'll show you another trick that I like to use for the agent detail specifically. So first, I'm going to replace with one piece of the information, phone. So I'm going to come over, find my phone, and click replace. Next, leaving this field selected, I'm going to click the duplicate in the top right. You'll see that that creates the same field a second time. So then I'm going to click and drag and place that in line with the first one. And then for this one, I'm going to replace with my email. Now what this does, there we go, is it keeps the same color, font, size, etc., so that it all matches within this contact piece. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. With the field selected, come up to the top right, click duplicate. I'm going to move this field. Oh, not the red box, the field. There we go. Have it in line with the others. This time I'm going to use my website because I don't have my app URL in here. And replace. Now you can also add in text by using the Add tab. So if there is another piece of information that you want to add in, you can add it in with text or even your logos. Or even here's your elements. So the things like the clip art that I mentioned. Lots and lots of different options. Last but not least is the DBA name or Market Center logo. Now this field is really nice because once you click to select, it will actually take you directly to the logos panel where you can simply replace with one of the logos you have already in your assets. And in fact, that was the wrong one. Let me do a black one. There we go. Again, you can resize if you wish, move it around, maybe to the left-hand side or right-hand side and have it right aligned. Up to you. Now, once we have our flyer all complete, I do recommend going ahead and saving, even though the autosave is on. Also recommend saving throughout your design. Looks like an email snuck in here, so I'm going to delete that. There we go. And save. We also recommend naming the piece so that you know exactly which one you're working with. You may also decide to leave the naming convention or the name that's already there. 13 is the design name, FS for sale, and FL for flyer. Yeah, the recording will be on our website, SLM Training, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ScottLeroy Marketing, later this afternoon. The next option is order print. So you will only see this on a select few designs at this time, primarily the one-page options like the flyers, to have this print from command. So you'll be taken through the 3 steps to complete that order. You can choose paper thickness, paper stock, number of copies, and continue. In step 2, this is where you'll review the design with the bleed area that I previously mentioned. Wanted to pull in that text so that it would be printed correctly. So you'll want to make sure all of these options are good to go. Download the print proof PDF. Read, review, and agree to the terms and conditions. And click continue. And that'll take you over to the 3rd step to finalize your order and input payment information. The share option, which is the next button over, this is where you can quickly share this design as an image to your different social media or as a link. This is also a really good way to note the project tab. Really like the project link for multi-page designs like the listing presentation, buyer presentation, or the personally branded magazine. Last button though is download. So if you do need to download this to print either at your house, at the office, you want to save it to a flash drive for Staples or UPS or Office Depot, or even just save it as a PDF to email out to people, you can. You can also select the file type JPEG or PNG to convert this to a picture or image to share on social media as well. Once you download, you'll see they're preparing, it'll save. You'll see the preparing at the very top. Depending on what browser you're using, I'm using Firefox, like I mentioned, so the download's going to populate in the top right once it's done. But if you're in Google Chrome, it'll populate in the download tray at the bottom left. So that is how you create and update a flyer for printing. So we'll click done to head back to the designs applet. And that's where you'll see your most recently created design, so that if you want to go back into it to edit it again, you can do so here. You can also make a copy from here. So if you want to use the same type of template, maybe instead of a for sale, it's going to be just sold. You can just change those 2 words on the copy that you make and keep all of the other information. The next type of print design I want to go over can actually be done and started in campaigns. Now you can do it from designs. You can create design, print, import photos, continue, and choose a postcard design. But today I'm going to show you how to go to campaigns and create a postcard from a template within that applet. Now, your campaigns dashboard may also look different than mine. If you have run any previous paid ads, there's a section here that'll show you all the analytics. But we're just going to head to the Create Campaign button in the top right corner. Again, this is print marketing, so we're going to choose direct mail. We're going to enter a campaign name. So I'm actually going to keep my same naming convention. Maybe you can do direct mail or PS for postcard, or even the size if you know ahead of time. Then you'll choose your goal. Now, goal doesn't affect what you'll see on the next screen. It's just for Keller Williams and kind of analytics purposes. When in doubt, you can choose other and click create campaign. If you're not seeing a button for direct mail, you want to make sure that you're in the campaigns applet, which is the little megaphone icon. It's the 5th one from the bottom. But if you're still having trouble with that, feel free to shoot us an email with your logins and we'll be able to troubleshoot that for you. Now, since I chose the goal of advertised listing, KWLS 2.0 has slid out from the right-hand side, and I can search by property address, MLS number, or listing agent to find my property. Now, instead of auto-populating all of the records immediately, you do have to click the search button here. And you'll want to also update the status and show to all. Once I've found my listing, I can click select. That'll populate in section 2. And you'll see our section 1, 5, and 6 already have the green check marks, which is the goal. But if you do need to change your name or goal, you can do so by clicking the section to drop it down and save. You can change the listing if you accidentally click on the wrong one by clicking this change listing button. Next section is content. So I'm going to click to drop down. Today, we're going to be using the select template, but here is where you can upload the design if you've created the design from the designs applet or an outside third-party source. So under the template, you can select which one you would like. Now, there are only 4 options at this time: a 4x6, a 9x6, and an 11x6. So choose your size here. You'll then see the listing details are auto-populating from the listing that we chose. You do need to select the listing status though. Now, the description does pull in, but you will notice that the character limit is only 350. So we want to reduce that quite a bit. There we have it. You can also go over to the preview on the right, flip over to the back where you can see the description and how it is pulling over. So it looks like we do still want to reduce this even more so that the full description can be seen on the postcard. Now, you cannot mail out flyers from here. This is only for postcards at this time. You will have to print those either at home your office, store, or have command and the system on their end print them for you and then manually pass them out. Next is the listing photo. Now it does default to upload image, so you can click browse to find them on your computer, but you can also tab over to listing image, where all of the listings will pull over from the MLS. Now you will see these little orange exclamation points. These are designating that they are a low resolution. So you may want to upload from your computer instead. But if you are for certain that this picture will work, and you can choose any, you don't necessarily have to choose the front of the house. You can still select it despite the low resolution exclamation point. You'll see it populate here in the wizard. And if you toggle back over to the front, you'll see how it looks in the preview. You can also remove that image and upload and replace if you so choose as well. That one actually looks better. The top's not cut off. Next section is all about you and your information pulling over from the marketing profile. So photo, name, email, phone, but you can also change this information if you need to. To apply that, click Save. That'll collapse the entire, I guess it really does want an email address. That will collapse the entire section here. It will also alert you that this is a low resolution image that you have chosen. They do still recommend the size at least 300 DPI with 1200 by 1800 pixels. But we can also see how it's looking on the next step as well. Next section is Market Center. Now, again, this information is syndicating from your marketing profile, but you can change any of this as you wish. You also want to make sure the character counts are good to go. The state generally does not pull over, so you will want to choose that and enter in your zip code. You will need to click this verify address and confirm the address in order to make this section green and good to go. Next section is targeting. Now it's already green because it's chosen local targeting surrounding the listing, pulling in from the listing you've chosen up above. But you can also choose to target your database. Simply click this Add Contacts. You'll see the embedded pop-up where you can search individually or by tag. And if they do have addresses, you can select and add to campaign. Since this is a lead generation class, I'm going to flip back over to local targeting and click Save. Last section is budget. Again, already green for you, but you do want to drop down and make sure that information is correct. You can either manually type in or use these up and down arrows to change the quantity. And depending on the template you chose back at the very beginning, will affect the postage class. So different templates have different options here. My specific template only has the one. Then I'll click Save. Check out my preview here, both front and back. It's looking all good so far. And last but not least, you can elect to have a QR code added in automatically just by toggling on this tracking button on the right. So you'll see that turn green. This QR code is so the recipient, once they receive the postcard, scans the QR code. With that QR code, they will be taken to a page that you'll designate below where you can capture their contact information and be tracked back to this campaign. Now, even though this says landing page assigned, you will also see all of your agent site pages as options as well. But we do recommend going ahead and creating a landing page for the specific listing so that more details are added in to that landing page. Once you've selected your landing or agent site page, you'll see the QR code automatically pop onto the preview here. So you don't even have to create this. The system will for you. Now, we do highly recommend saving as draft, coming back to this the following day, making sure there are no grammatical errors or spelling errors. The picture you want is still the one that's selected, etc. Mainly because once you click this configure targeting and go to step 2, you are not able to come back to this wizard to edit this postcard anymore. So you want to make sure this is 100% accurate before going to configure targeting. It will ask, are you sure? Click yes. Now, step 2 is really fun. You can change the number of homes to target again on this little sliding scale. You can change the property type, the amount of bedrooms, the square footage, year built, last year sold, last sold for, the postage class, again, if that is available. If not, it will stay default and be grayed out. You can also check to send a copy to your company address. If you hover over this little eye in a circle, the tooltip, you'll see where that company address is. Now you'll see with all of these filters here, this is the map that shows who is going to receive that postcard. And you can also change how you select these properties. It does default to radius, so it's highlighting the listing address and going out from there in a circle. But you can also draw. So if you want to do some sort of shape other than a circle, you can. Or choose polygon. So you want to click to start shape. And then actually, let's go down here, 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 and here. Close to connect it. Now you will also see using the polygon and draw that it did reduce the number of homes to target. You may also see an alert here that there aren't very many homes to target, but if you reset and go back to radius, you can then increase that number if you wish. You can design the back of a postcard if you start that out in designs, but through the template, there is no further design of the back. It's just using the template. So once you're good with the targeting, you can click next. You'll see the front and back preview again. We do also recommend viewing the larger preview here with this red text. You'll see dollar amount, postage, total. Check out these details for processing and delivery details. You'll then enter your payment information here. Be sure to check out the Real Mailers Terms of Service down at the very bottom in gray. Did get one question here. Can you target zip codes? So let's go back into our targeting step. Gotta verify this address again. There we go. Nope. Oh, nope. 083. There you are. So if you input the zip code in this search field at the top, and like I said, radius selected by default, so it'll start from the center and go out. You can see that raise if you increase the number of homes to target, but you won't be able to add in more than one. So let's do another one. See how it changes from the last one to this one. So you can do zip code singular, but not multiple. Yeah, you're welcome. So that is it for class today. That was the last step to creating that direct mail postcard and sending that out through command and Real Mailers. Of course, if I didn't answer your question or you think of another question later, feel free to contact us and we'll be happy to help. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/ScottLeroy And our website with all of our contact information is simply scottleroymarketing.com. I do not believe there's a way to download that target data at this time, straight from that campaign configure targeting step. That's just to send out the direct mail postcards. But I would recommend adding in that QR code so that anyone who scans it will be captured and automatically put into your command database so that you can then capture the information that way. As always, thank you guys for joining and hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and happy March.